Here we find ourselves again at Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, and this is the National Cemetery. Now, the reason I'm showing you a cemetery is this is where 138 Native students were buried from the Hampton program. So if you look up on the internet the Hampton program by General Samuel Armstrong, he believed that if you took the underprivileged blacks, after the Civil War of course, the underprivileged blacks, and mixed them with Native American students, and it was originally from Algonquin, Iroquois, and Pamunkey, Eastern Indians was the theory, and you mix them with the blacks, the underprivileged blacks that were freed slaves, that you would have a working class of people. Now, what happened, that was plan A, I guess. Plan B was that he got the Indian students from a prison in St. Augustine, Florida, where they'd been held, and he felt that if he educated the blacks enough to raise up their morals and their work ethics a little bit, and then transferred the native students' hatred of the white men into hatred of the blacks, that he could create a working class and heal all the wounds. This is in southern Virginia, down below the Mason-Dixon. Wasn't well received. And with the passage of the Jim Crow laws and other laws of the time, it didn't go over well for Virginia. It was just like a black eye. So the program was trashed in 1923, I believe, but please look it up on the internet under the Hampton Indian Program. And in here are 138 Indian students. This is as close as I can get without getting soaking wet. It is a rainy day. It's just starting to really cut loose, so I'll make this short. But this program idea was transferred from here to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, to the Carlisle Indian School. And we ran into that before in the healing of Turtle Island, that the Carlisle program was designed after this Hampton program to Christianize and civilize the savage creature, Native American Indians. But what became of it is they didn't care how they did it, they just wanted to get the red out. So the one interview that we had, that the lady stood up and told a story of her self-healing. She was 7 years old, just turning 7. She wasn't quite 7 yet, but 6, and they were taking all the children off the reservations. My mother was one of them off the Iroquois Mohawk reservation that was taken. But anyway, she was taken at Carlisle Indian School. And if you spoke any Indian or spoke of being Indian, you were put in the punishment room, she said. Now, she was only not just 7 years old. And in the punishment room, you would wait there until one of the staff came by in turn and beat you or raped you until you swore to be silent. She said, her mother said, never lose your heritage, was the last thing her mother said to her before they took her from the reservation. She never gave up. And we'd asked her, well, how long were you in the school? How often were you beaten? She says, every day. She was beaten or raped starting at 6 and 7 years old. And they asked her, how long were you in the Carlisle Institute? And she said, just over 3 years. And this woman still had a smile on her face somehow. And I'm not sure why, where that bravery comes from. But here's where it all started. And if you're interested, look up the Hampton program, Indian program. I'm about to get soaking wet, so I've got to leave you, but more film at 11.